Hello and welcome to Football Fanatics. Today we're going over the Kansas City Chiefs offense and why they have looked so human today, so far this season. And it goes down to just a couple things that we'll get straight into here. So, first play here, you see Bud Dupree, this outside linebacker, lined up way outside. Now this is because Mahomes has this tendency to drop way 10 yards, 9 yards behind the line of scrimmage. And that will give him this geometric advantage to just be able to run around this left tackle. So, off the snap, he's a good 3 yards outside that left tackle. He goes. Now, that left tackle should be in good position because the quarterback, Mahomes, should be in the pocket 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage. The left tackle can just kind of usher Bud Dupree around the Mahomes. Mahomes can escape out, try and make a play on 3rd and 7 to move the sticks. However, because Mahomes is, it looks like 8.5, 9 yards behind this line of scrimmage, he's a sitting duck right there because Bud Dupree can just run straight past, end up getting the sack. Now, they do fumble it and recover, but on 3rd and 7, either way, it's going to be a turnover. Here it's going to be a 4th down rather than a 3rd down, or a 4th down for the Kansas rather than a 1st down for Titans. But still, you got to be able to have better fundamentals so that you can have at least a chance to pick that up. Because if we go back, and look at the concept, because by the time Mahomes has to run, he looked at his first read right there. Now, his first read wasn't open because it's 3rd and 7, and it probably won't be. Now he's trying to create, but he's trying to create as Bud Dupree's already closing. Ideally, he would have already escaped out of the pocket by then, allowing him to go through 2nd and 3rd reads and just trying to create then. So, our second example play here, coming up. Now, if you look, they have numbers to run this ball left. Because they got center on nose tackle, they got left guard on linebacker, they got left tackle on edge, and then you got receiver on cornerback, and that will leave the linebacker and the safety in a foot race with your running back. However, this left guard will just miss the block on the blitzing linebacker, and that will turn this because that's, if everyone makes their block, that's an easy 5 to 10 yard gain. However, they take away that 5 to 10 yard gain just by not being able to run block. And specifically, again, look at this left guard versus that blitzing linebacker. So you just ends up losing a yard. Now, if we go into our slow motion, we have that little jab step outside, which causes the guard to overset outside, because right here, that right foot planted really wide for that blitzing linebacker, and the guard was worried about being beat to the outside. He oversets, linebacker comes back inside, just slips around the guard, ends up getting the play made, and that's one of those that you just have to get that block on a linebacker. You can't allow the linebacker to run around you like that. So here, we're back to a 1st and 10. Now you got Kelsey and Hill loaded to the top side. And the Titans are playing what looks to me to be a very, very basic cover 3 defense with this outside guy going deep and then this slot guy linebacker guy coming underneath and playing the slot. So, and because of Hill's speed, you notice how he's starting to back up into that zone before the snap. So, you get a little chuck on Hill there. And now, here, if we switch our attention back to the pocket, Mahomes is still a bit too deep, but it's a lot better. And this time the right tackle is the one susceptible, but it's one of those that he can now step up into this pocket and escape out. And sure enough, he steps up. Now, he has Kelsey for at least a 5-ish yard gain. If he throws it like on the 29, you'll get some yards, bring up second and manageable. However, he goes and tries to force this ball way downfield after rolling out, ends up getting deflected up. Titans make a play on that, but one of those that Mahomes has gotten away for years with making those types of throws, and now the defenses are catching up and being able to just defend those. Sometimes they get tipped up and intercepted, but if you take those easier checkdowns, you aren't going to be as susceptible to those random plays. So here, now they're going to go into a basic cover 2 man, with both these safeties dropping into deep coverage. They're worried about Kelsey's physicality, so they have a safety lined up right against him, 2 yards away, ready to chuck him off the line. And again, look at how wide this pass rush is. Both edge rushers are a good couple yards outside, both playing that wide 9 technique. And as we play, again, Mahomes does a good job stepping up into the pocket to really reduce that, but early on in the game, he struggled, and that's what caused that first fumble. Here, he tries to escape, which is a good play. The safety from that left deep zone comes up, makes a play. Should just make the tackle. Mahomes didn't slide in time and causes that fumble. Titans end up falling on it. And that's one of those that you really just can't afford. You got to be able to know when to slide and just take the ball, because you can't afford fumbles on plays like that. You had, because we go back. One more. 2 more. So here, you have to be able to feel that guy coming. Understand right here that you understand, we'll say, right here that you aren't able to get this first down and slide. Because I know you haven't gotten the first down, but take the slide, go back to the huddle, you have a 3rd and 2, you'll probably make that 3rd and 2. You have plenty of time left, and that way you can at least try and get a field goal before half. Here he tried to make a play, unable to do that, ends up costing them possession. And that's one of those that you just can't afford to have that guy or your quarterback lose that possession there. And here, they're getting even more creative than just having Mahomes step up into the pocket. Here you'll actually get a chip on both edge rushers, as this receiver and the running back will both go out and take a hit on the edge rushers, trying to help them off the edge. Right there you see the chip on the bottom guy. And on 3rd and 11, when you have to start chipping guys, it really becomes tough, because that realistically, it leaves you 3 guys in the route. Because by the time the chip guy gets out into his route, it's not going to be past the sticks on 3rd and 11. But you do, and then, if we go back, so that's great that you have these chipped edges. But you have Danico Autry on this bottom left side, and he's also lined up in a wide, or that wide technique. Looks to be like a 5 technique lined up dead over the right tackle. And he will play almost like a defensive end, just win outside, go up, grab him, get the sack, and brings up 4th down. So even though you got the chips on both edges, they still effectively had an edge rusher, which is absolutely crazy to imagine, and one of those that you got to be able to at least have those guards not lose those battles like that. So coming up here, again, we have just a basic cover 2. Now, Mahomes gets this ball and just dumps it. I don't know why he didn't try and look for Kelsey there when he saw the double on Hill, but he ends up just skipping the ball towards Hill. One of those, even when you're backed up, you just have to go through your progressions, make sure you aren't making mistakes that are like that. And again, it's not crazy stuff the Chiefs are missing, but it's the fundamentals they haven't been doing for years. So here you get a chip going to the top side with Bud Dupree. This running back will go because they're worried about him, as makes sense because he did force that fumble early in the game. However, they will leave Harold Landry on the bottom, not unblocked, but unchipped by either that wide receiver or a tight end they could have had over there. So, jumping into it, Mahomes catches it, drops again. Here he's 9 yards behind the line of scrimmage. Ends up that the Landry will just run around the left tackle, end up getting there. Now, Bud Dupree also gets there, but Landry was really the guy who made that stop, bringing up a big third down. Ends up you won't make that third down. And that brings me to this 4th and 18. You can't, and this is again Ole Adeni on the bottom here. He's going to be the one who starts this play. So Mahomes again, really deep in the pocket. If he was 5 to 7 yards, as I like to say, he's in that pocket. It's gonna he can then wait to find a lane. Looks to be one opening up here on the bottom, but you can wait, try and buy some time. Here, that right end, Adeni, he sees this wind's outside. Now Mahomes has to try and come inside and out. If he was just down on the 32 here, he can run, and he will actually end up running away from Danico Autry again, who's breaking through on that left or on the right guard. And you can go try and make a throw on 4th and 18. Yeah, you're down by a mile, but it can hopefully maybe try and get you back in the game. Here, he tries to step up late, ends up getting caught. Now, instead of just understanding this play's dead, dump it, the game's practically over, he will take a couple steps trying to get away. Ends up that Jeffrey Simmons, that D tackle, comes up, tries to block it, ends up putting Mahomes into concussion protocol, which is something you really don't want to see, because that's your star quarterback. Obviously woozy getting up, and that's one of those that if he was, you don't want to see him get hurt, because that's not anything you can blame on him. But if he's in the pocket, he'll escape out to the side and get a throw off, and maybe he still does get hurt, but I'm not saying, the injury's on him, because, that's just mean. But it's one of those that he could at least give his team a better chance. Now here, Heineke in. Now look at how he takes his drop. Again in that shotgun, he takes this one hitch, he stops, it looks to be 7 yards behind the line of scrimmage, and now the pass rush just unable to get there. This high-low concept on the top, he didn't like it, and he sees, I think that's Hardman coming across the middle of the screen there. He decides to dump it there, and again, one of those, he's going to try and go make a play, ends up fumbling the ball, Titans recover, and that's one of those that even when it seems like they're doing everything right, they just can't seem to make a play offensively and hold on to the ball, especially this game. But even in other games, they would always, they'd start a drive and then get a penalty. So, one of those, if they want to maintain that superstar status, they're going to have to begin to start playing a bunch better in the structure, in the game, and not have to rely so much on these crazy deep passes that have been taken away by those 2 deep safeties that we saw so often. And even if you go cover 3, make sure you just don't get burned, like seen there. You just and make sure you have guys behind. And that's really been stopping the Chiefs all season, and that's why they are 3-4 heading here into Week 8. Anyway, that's all I had for you today. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.